What's up? I probably should have recorded a little bit earlier, but I have this Littermaid box, and it wasn't working right anymore. It wasn't powering on. I took it apart, and it was pretty simple actually. And it turns out that the contacts on the switch were sticking. So I looked around in my drawer of miscellaneous crap, and I have a tendency of taking apart gadgets before I throw stuff away and just throw miscellaneous components in the drawer. And so I found this, which was off of some really small fan that I kept this in the motor for. And I figured out the wiring for it. It's only 3 position. I thought it was going to be 4 and I'd have one that didn't work, but actually it's only 3 position, so it actually works out fine. So I kind of hacked in some new wires to it because the connectors weren't any good in there, so I kind of soldered them in there. Now I got the little plug here from the board, which goes here. I'm just going to solder that together, and then I'm going to plug it in and test it out. So we'll see how that goes in a minute here. I thought while I was at it I'd show off what I'm using here. I got this thing for soldering wires. It's got a little magnifying glass on it. You can flip it the other way to zoom in. And then I got this Ryobi soldering iron for like $20 on clearance, and it's really cool. It works great. It's worth the money. I don't have too many Ryobi tools anymore, but I still get a couple, and now I got this one. I used to use this Weller. It's a battery powered one, and the battery died very quickly on it, and it wasn't any good. And then I picked up one that has a butane, which I actually really like the butane one. But when I saw the Ryobi, I couldn't turn it down. I had to give it a shot, and it was absolutely worth it. I use this thing all the time. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I can't do it on camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and solder this up. Oh, I gotta put some shrink tube on there too. But I'll be back. Ah, what the hell, I thought I'd set up the tripod and see if I can show off my less than stellar soldering skills. I don't know if I could do it without blocking the view, but just use the sponge to wipe off the tip first. And well, after you use it, you should do it, and it gets all the gunk off of there. This is a little precarious with the camera. And let's see what I could do here. Yeah, let's see if I can get that again. Yeah, that'll work. No, that ain't gonna work. If there's stranded wire, you can kind of twist them together to help keep it together. If one of them is, at least, but this is really thin, so I need to get the flow started. If you can get it to stick to the tip, it makes this really easy to do. I'm not having much luck here. Try again. test the joint. Go ahead and shrink wrap up there. Nice and shrunk on there. There's some adhesive inside of there. It helps, not that it needs waterproofing, but it's for waterproofing, and it also just helps hold it together. So I'm not going to bother recording the other two because that was kind of a pathetic display, but I did one anyhow, so I'll come back when I'm done. Alright, so I got the soldering done, and it's not the prettiest. I could have did a little better job, but I wanted to make sure I had some extra wire to work with, so I kept it long. Before I finish up, I'm going to do a final test of the switch. Let's see here. If I get it right, it should make a beep on one of these positions. Yeah. And now it's going to beep in the other position. So basically the red and the white now form a circuit, and then when you can't see it. The red and the white form a circuit, and then you switch it, and then it's the white and the blue. Assuming you go the correct way, which I don't think I did. You can hear it beep, and that means there's continuity. So that's pretty much how it works. It's just like connecting the wire, connecting the red and the white, and then the blue and the white, depending on which position it's in, or neither. And it's a very basic switch, two-position switch. It's how the world works. Pretty straightforward stuff, but some people don't really think about it much. I think it's kind of cool how this stuff works, so I thought I'd explain that for a moment. Now I'm going to have to modify this thing, because the old switch is up here. This isn't going to fit there. Those are two LED slots, so that ain't going to work. So I'm going to pop some holes in this thing. Take the knob off. We got these two screw holes, and this is the the switch itself. So I'll just pop 3 holes in it. I'm not sure where yet. Might be alright here in the front. I was gonna do it in the back originally, but it might be better in the front, so I don't know. I'll drill some holes and get it mounted. Alright, so yeah, I've been kind of fiddling with it. It's late and I haven't really been focusing on it a lot. I've just been kind of plugging away at it here and there. So I did get the holes drilled in here. I got the thing mounted. I used some, I couldn't find my regular imperial screws, so I got the my metric out parts from my 3D printer. I got that mounted. I got the wires zip tied in. Couldn't find my zip tie anchors, of course, but I'll just leave it. And I kind of think I busted these LEDs, but doesn't mean it won't work necessarily. And pretty much ready to put this thing back together, but I'm probably gonna call it a night here and pick it back up tomorrow. But so far so good. The switch still works. I tested it, and I'm pretty sure that this thing's gonna be fine. So I'll put it back together tomorrow and we'll check it out. Alright, I had a bit of a hard time rigging this camera up.
it's actually above my head on a tripod. Anyhow, before I reassemble it, I just wanted to try to plug it in, and ideally this thing is gonna move. If this thing moves, it means that it was done right. So, let me see something here. So there's a lot of different boards in here. So this plug, this one goes here. This one here looks like it's for these laser beams. It doesn't go there, it goes here. Laser beams go there. This is the power port. And this is the new switch that I wired up. And I'll go ahead and apply power. Hey, look at that. She's moving. So this has got two positions to it. And that's why I need a two-position switch. One mode is clean. And the other one is just sweep. So on clean mode, it stays in the front so that you can get in there with the rake. The other one is normal operation. So one of these switches does one and one of them does the other. So it's working as intended. So there was one thing I needed to do before I put it back together. I actually had installed this upside down. Remember those white posts that were sticking out? Those were the LEDs. I thought that I broke them, but at least the green one is actually still working. So those posts had the LEDs and they stick out, and they kind of fit underneath these round clear windows to indicate what's going on. And I didn't make a cover for the old switch hole, but it's alright. So I'll go ahead and finish reassembly real quick, just to do it real quick to explain what's going on. So that's the inside of this thing. This cover protects the circuit board. Then this dovetail fits into this slot, and then this one has its own dovetail and slot on this side, and it just slides. They just insert it and slide it down. So it just kind of slides down like that, and then we would just screw it back together. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish reassembly now. Well, I decided to take it back apart again because these are loose, and while it would work just fine, it would be a real shame if I put this thing back together and wouldn't be able to see the lights because they have to line up with the holes. So I decided I was going to take it apart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some UV Cure adhesive to hold them in place. So I got this black light, ultraviolet light, And I have a few different glues that I could use for the sake of the video. I'm just going to grab the one that's closest. I usually use a Loctite product, but I wanted to try other products because it's expensive, so I bought a few different things. This is Flash Fix liquid plastic adhesive. Cures in seconds, and it literally does. It comes with its own little black light. It's got a little sanding sponge alcohol. I'm not going to go through the whole sanding rigmarole. I'm just going to try to plop a little on there. And look out for this spider, by the way. I don't know if you can see that or not. There he is. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get. Alright. Hang on, my stuff's getting loose now. I'm not going to fix the rig in the middle of the video. Maybe I am. It's embarrassing. I don't want to lose the spider. Alright, I'll just support it a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna... Oh no, I took the part. Alright, I'm canceling. Yeah, that was not cool. I decided I'll just leave all that mess in there, because why the hell not? So, as you saw, I had that spider come, and then my camera fell apart, and then I dumped over my glue, because it didn't take the right lid off, but there's still some in there, so... And I'm going to just apply some of this Flash Fix. I'm just going to some on the post. Probably good enough. Doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be much. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure those are sitting how I want them. They look pretty good. I'm just going to take this black light. I don't need to do it this long. Like 2 seconds is plenty, but I just like to hold it on there a little extra. Just to make sure the center is all nice and hard too. No, I could use a little more. That one's good. This one here kind of busted off a bit. Let me do another one. That one should hold. If this one doesn't hold, I'm going to get the good stuff out. That'll work. That'll do. Alright, so now I'm going to put it back together. Okay, so she's working. I got it back together. The lights are lined up. It's kind of hard to make the red light go off. It has to bind up and not make it home 3-4 times. So I'm not going to bother with that. But, yeah, she's working. She's on her way home now. I'll put it in clean mode. It's going to stay out when it gets there. You can turn it off. We're in good shape here. So really there's only a couple things left to do. I just got to kind of put it back together. I got to put the rake back on it and then put it onto the rest of the litter box. And I'm going to do something with this too. So we'll stay tuned. Yeah, so I went online and I took a look around to see if I could find a 3D model for a hole cover. It would work for that hole that that switch came out of originally. And I did end up finding something that worked. Not exactly out of the box, but essentially I first started by looking for this parametric plug which means that you can change the parameters like programmatically in order to modify the object, but it didn't allow it for a rectangular hole. It allowed you to have a rectangular face on the hole though, so that didn't work. So I looked around and I found this cover that someone had made from a power strip that they had a switch on that they bypassed, and I went ahead and I tried to download it, and I loaded it into SolidWorks to kind of try to figure out what the dimensions were. I'm not really good at SolidWorks, barely used it, but I thought it was going to work, so I went ahead and I tried to load it into my 3D printer slicer, and I decided I was going to try to print it with ABS because that's what was in the machine at the time, but that actually didn't end up happening how I wanted it, and so I actually ended up revisiting this whole concept with another segment here in a moment that gave me an opportunity to show what I did wrong and how I addressed it, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so I printed the plug out, and no, it was too long. So I'm going to ununiformly scale this 31. We'll try it 21.9. Is it fit the other way? And I don't know if that's actually going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. And also, didn't have enough time to prime the nozzle, so the finish on it was pretty awful. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to give it bigger offset. Okay, that seems like it should have been enough. I'm going to go ahead and make a raft for it too. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do a raft. I'll go ahead and get this thing printed out. Oh, let me check one thing here. Do I have... No. So I don't have the machine calibrated for PET-G. So I'm going to leave the ABS settings in place. But I did pull up the PET-G profile to get the temperatures changed, but the scripting, I don't have a proper ease step for PET-G figured out yet on the new extruder, but it'll be good enough. So I'll go ahead and let me look at the layers. Yeah, I'm gonna change that. It's not completely full. It's got infill, but the part's not big enough for using a small infill amount. So I'm just gonna make the part 100% solid by adding solid diaphragm layers, but doing it on every layer with no spacing in between them. So it's just going to be a solid part with no infill. And it looks a little better. The different colors shown are different flow rates. I want to try something. I want to see what this adaptive flow rate looks like. I don't usually use that. And I'm looking at it differently. Yeah, I'm gonna print it like this. We'll see how it goes. export the G code. Take the old G code out, put the new G code in. Of course, my machine isn't warmed up anymore, so I gotta wait again. I turn the exhaust fan off on the enclosure, start on lubing, and we'll see how she looks when she's done. There she is. The new cover for the old button, the old switch. Pop it in there. Perfect fit now. That'll do. I guess that was in the clean mode. That's the other mode. Send this guy back home. There she is. I guess I had it in the wrong spot because the light was blinking. I thought maybe I did something wrong, but it's good now. We're in good shape. What do you say, kitty? Huh? What do you say? Get your box all fixed? No. No. Hey. 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 Be nice. Be nice. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.